कितना ही बदले, बाबा तेरी यादों के दीप हमेशा रहेंगे जले। कितनी ही सदियां बीते, ये जग कितना ही बदले, बाबा तेरी यादों के दीप हमेशा रहेंगे जले। जग ने जिनको ठुकराया, पद दलित किया भटकाया, जग ने जिनको ठुकराया, पद दलित किया भटकाया, तुमने को स्वर्ग बनाया, इस जग को स्वर्ग बनाया। ईश मिलन के प्यासों को बाबा तुम खुद आन मिले, बाबा तेरी यादों के दीप हमेशा रहेंगे जले। कितनी ही सदियां बीते, ये जग कितना ही बदले, बाबा तेरी यादों के दीप हमेशा रहेंगे जले। परिवर्तन गाथा तेरी सुनकर पत्थर भी पिघले, बाबा तेरी यादों के दीप हमेशा रहेंगे जले। कितनी ही सदियां बीते, ये जग कितना ही बदले, बाबा तेरी यादों के दीप हमेशा रहेंगे जले। जो तेरी छाया में पले। बाबा तेरी यादों के दीप हमेशा रहेंगे जले। कितनी ही सदियां बीते, ये जग कितना ही बदले। बाबा तेरी यादों के दीप हमेशा रहेंगे जले। बाबा तेरी यादों के दीप हमेशा रहेंगे जले। दृष्टि यूं ही देते रहो बाबा, आप दृष्टि यूं ही देते रहो बाबा। सुख सागर में गहरे उतर जाऊं, सुख सागर में गहरे उतर जाऊं। पल के ना पल भर बंद मेरी हूँ, पल के ना पल भर इन लहरों को दामन में भर जाऊं, इन लहरों को दामन में भर जाऊं। आप दृष्टि यूं ही देते रहो बाबा। देह की दुनिया से उड़ जाऊं, इस देह की दुनिया से उड़ जाऊं। आप दृष्टि यूं ही देते रहो बाबा। शुक्रिया आपका लाखों बाबा, आपने हम
Om Shanti. Good morning, everyone. How is the sound, Brother Abhinav?
Sound is very good, Sister Belinda. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for playing that song. I think for many of us, it was always the song they played when Baba used to leave. And so it brings that very sweet atmosphere of Madhuban and Baba. So very lovely. Thank you. So we have an interesting Murli today. Well, I suppose all Murlis are interesting. But Baba is talking about becoming worthy of worship at the confluence age in an alokik way. And the word alokik we can translate as spiritual, subtle, but it's not a worldly way. And so some of us may wonder about becoming worthy of worship. Maybe it's not something that we aspire to, but Baba explains it very beautifully today. And he talks about how at the confluence age, through the use of our virtues and our specialities, that we win the hearts of others. And he said, people can give you regard because of protocol, because there's some sort of hierarchy and they feel they're obliged to give you respect and regard. But he says, if you really win that respect from the heart of people, that is when you become worthy of worship at the confluence age. And of course, it's something for the future because it's on the path of bhakti that the memorial of this time is played out, that they worship the idols, they do the arti with the lamps, and many things they do in bhakti. And it's all very physical. But here we are, we've recognized Baba. Baba says that is the greatest speciality, is to recognize him. So even if you look at someone and you think that they don't have any specialities, Baba says their intellect at this time of the cycle was clear enough to recognize him. And so by seeing the specialities of others and by using our own specialities, seeing specialities and using specialities are deeply connected. Because when we see a speciality in practice in someone else, it awakens that within ourselves. Otherwise, virtues and specialities are kind of just theoretical. And we want them to be very real and practical in our lives. And so developing this art of looking at others, seeing their specialities, and in a way that brings out our own speciality of seeing the specialities of others. Then our attitude towards them will be alokik, spiritual. Our vision for them will be alokik, spiritual. Everything changes when we recognize that what is the greatest speciality? Is that this is a soul. And not just an ordinary soul, this is a divine soul. This is child of the Supreme Father. And so when we practice this deeply, and it comes into our vibrations, into our drishti, into our interaction with others, then we win the blessings and the respect of others. But we do have to be careful. Baba cautions us that the moment I comes in, that, I did this or I am like this, then Baba says it's like Maya eats the fruit. And like the birds come and eat the fruit before it's even ripe. So Maya is like that. The moment we say I, then everything is lost. So it's very interesting. Baba is asking us to use our specialities, so we have to recognize them, but not have any ego around those specialities. So it can be a little bit of a catch-22, that yes, to recognize, but then not to have this feeling, because Baba says that our specialities are given by God. So we can't actually have ego around our specialities. They are a gift from God at the confluence age. Doesn't matter what those specialities are. Maybe we've even had Lokik training, but it's the alokik specialities that Baba is really talking about today. People can really feel when you are authentic, when your love and regard is authentic, and then it wins that back from others. So let's listen to Baba's Murli, and we listen in a soul conscious way, because Baba is talking to the soul, not to the body. So today is the 27th of June. We are almost over. June is almost finished, so halfway through the year. But the original date was the 26th of January, 1988. So we've been listening to the 88 Murlis from the beginning of 88 this year. And the title that's been given for the Murli, the alokik way to become a number one worthy of worship soul at the confluence age. I'll repeat, the alokik way to become a number one worthy of worship soul at the confluence age. Today, the eternal, that is Anadi, Father, and the first original, Adi, that means first, Father, are seeing their eternal saligram children, and the original Adi, Brahman children, in their double form. In the form of saligrams, you are supremely worthy of worship in the form of Brahmins. I'll repeat. In the form of saligrams, you are supremely worthy of worship. And in the form of Brahmins, who become deities, you are worthy of praise and worship and worthy of worship. So saligrams, for those of you who don't know, in Bhakti, they make thousands of little clay balls. So they worship the Shiva Lingam, Shiva, but then they also worship these little clay balls. And so Baba is remembering that memorial of the worship of the souls who became pure. Both fathers, the original and the eternal, are pleased to see the souls who are worthy of worship children. Even more, sorry, I missed a line. Both fathers, the original and the eternal, are pleased to see the souls who are worthy of worship in both forms. The eternal Father has made Adipita, that is the original Father, Father Brahma, and also the Brahman children, even more worthy of worship than himself in the double form. The eternal Father is only worshipped in the one incorporeal form, whereas Brahma, along with the Brahman children, are worshipped double in both their incorporeal and corporeal forms. So the souls and also the deities. So the Father makes the children greater in two ways, even greater than himself. Today, Bapdada was seeing the specialities of the children. Each child's speciality is his own, meaning we're all unique and different. Some children, knowing the specialities of the Father and all the Brahman souls, imbibe all those specialities themselves and become elevated, that is, special souls. Others are happy to know and see the specialities, but they don't have the courage to imbibe all the specialities themselves. Even though every soul of the Brahman family has a speciality, some do not look at the importance of each one's speciality, but just see one another with ordinary vision. They don't have the practice of seeing or knowing the speciality. Or, because of not having an intellect that picks up virtues, that is, because of not having an intellect that can imbibe virtues, they are unable to recognize the speciality or virtue. Every Brahmin soul is definitely filled with one speciality or another. Even if it is the last bead of the rosary of 16,000, he definitely has one speciality or another. For this is why the Father's vision falls on that soul. When God's vision falls on that one, or when God makes that one belong to him, there is definitely one speciality or another merged in that one. This is why that has come into the list of Brahmins. Where someone has unmuted, if you could just check your mics, thank you. So Baba says, this is why that soul has come into the list of Brahmins. However, you become number-wise in constantly seeing and knowing the specialities of each one. So this is what makes us number-wise, that we don't see the beauty in the other soul. Bapdada knows that no matter how weak you are in imbibing knowledge, in service or in remembrance, you do have a broad intellect with which to know the Father and to belong to Him, and that you have divine vision with which to see Him. It's very beautiful that a soul who recognizes God, there has to be something very special there, especially at this time of the cycle when, there's a lot of bhakti still happening. So they say they love God, but to really recognize Him and to have that divine vision with which to see. You have this speciality. Even well-known scholars of today cannot know or recognize Him, but you souls know Him. You have at least come into the list of those who are a handful out of multi-millions, a few of that handful. This is why you have become special souls out of multi-millions. Why have you become special? Good question to ask ourselves. Why have we become special? Here we are on a Sunday morning in winter, gathered together to listen to God's words. Baba says, because you belong to the highest on high Father. Out of all souls, Brahman souls are special. It is just that some use their specialities. And this is why that speciality, which others are able to see, continues to increase. Others have the seed of speciality in them, but to use that is to sow that seed in the ground. So I'll repeat that, very nice. Others have the seed of speciality in them, but to use that is to sow the seed in the ground. Until a seed is sown in the ground, a tree cannot grow from it. It cannot grow. Some children make the seed of speciality grow. That is, it grows into the form of a tree. So very important, because unless it's a tree, there cannot be fruit. It even bears fruit, but when the fruit comes, birds come to the fruit to eat it. So when the fruit starts appearing, so what is the fruit of what Baba is talking about? When the fruit starts appearing, I was talking about when others start to see your speciality, they start to maybe even give praise and recognition. So he says, so when the fruit starts appearing, Maya also comes in the form, I am special. This is my speciality. You don't understand that you have received that speciality from the Father, that it is the Father who has filled you with that speciality. It was when you became a Brahmin that you developed that speciality. It is a gift of Brahmin life, a gift from the Father. This is why it is necessary to pay this attention after the fruit has come. That is, after you have had success in service. Otherwise, birds in the form of Maya eat the fruit or make it fall off the tree. A damaged idol cannot be worshipped. So when we accept the praise of others, what happens is we actually lose the speciality, because the speciality is only there when we are in that egoless state. So it falls off the tree. We actually lose the fruit of that. A damaged idol cannot be worshipped. It is accepted as an idol, but it cannot be worshipped. In the same way, there are those Brahman souls who receive the fruit of service. That is, they receive success in service. But the birds of the consciousness of I have damaged the fruit. Therefore, it is accepted that they do very good service, that they are Maharatis and are serviceable. But even at the confluence age, they cannot become worthy of love in the hearts of the whole Brahman family, and so will not become worthy of worship. To receive love and regard from the hearts at the confluence age is to become worthy of worship. So it's the definition of becoming worthy of worship. To receive love and regard from the hearts at the confluence age is to become worthy of worship. Those who bring about the consciousness of I in the fruit cannot become worthy of worship. It is one thing in your heart to consider someone to be higher. For to be higher means to be worthy of worship. In today's world, because their father is higher, children call him or write to him, worthy of worship, Father. To consider someone to be higher in your heart means to give regard from the heart. It is another thing when you have to give regard according to the external code of conduct. So, there is so much difference between giving from your heart and having to give. To become worthy of worship means that everyone accepts you with their heart, or the majority do. You were told earlier too that 5% may not, but the majority should accept you from their hearts, and that this is becoming worthy of worship at the confluence age. It is from now that you have to fill yourselves with the sanskars of being worthy of worship. However, there is a difference in being worthy of worship on the path of devotion and being worthy of worship now. Your bodies cannot be worshipped now because they are your last old bodies. They are bodies made from tamoguni elements. You will not be garlanded with a garland of flowers now. On the path of bhakti, people offer flowers to the deities. The sign of being worthy of worship is that they light incense sticks, they garland idols They do arti, that is special form of worship with the lamps. They sing devotional songs and apply a tilak. At the confluence age, you do not have those gross methods. So we don't have to do any of that. However, at the confluence age, people continue to do arti with true love in their hearts for those worthy of worship souls. So not the physical arti, but Baba is talking about the subtle arti. They constantly continue to sing songs about one or another form of attainment from such souls. They constantly light lamps or incense of good wishes for those souls. So yesterday we were listening to Hansaben talking about Daddy Janki, and such a lovely example actually of this, that, Daddy, when we think of Daddy, we just think of all those specialities, and she never took that praise even during her life. So this is what Baba is saying, that people do hold that in their hearts, that special love, and singing the praise of those souls. So they constantly light lamps or incense of good wishes for those souls. Just as you souls have surrendered yourselves to the Father, in the same way, other souls should also receive from you the enthusiasm to surrender themselves to the Father. So those souls automatically receive the garlands of surrendering to the Father. Such souls constantly wear the tilaks of embodiments of remembrance. So very beautiful here. The garlands are the subtle garlands of others surrendering themselves to Baba. And then the subtle tilaks of being embodiments of remembrance. Souls become worthy of worship at this time in this alokik way. The worship of the present time is more elevated than being worthy of worship on the path of bhakti. From just a few moments' connection with worthy of worship souls of the path of devotion, that is, just by going in front of that idol, they experience peace, power, and happiness for a few moments. That's why in India, there are long queues in front of the idols, everybody queuing up just to have darshan of those idols. So, in the same way, even now, by receiving a few moments drishti from confluence-aged, worthy of worship souls, you experience happiness, peace, and the power of enthusiasm. Such worthy of worship souls are number one special souls. You have already been told about the second and third numbers. What can we say about them? All are in the list of special souls, but it is number-wise. 1, 2, 3. The aim of everyone is to be number one. So, become worthy of worship in this way. This is a lovely turning point, really to think, what I need to bring out from within so that others take benefit, whether it's few words, vision of kindness, whatever it is. You sing praise of the virtues of everyone. You sing praise of the virtues of Father Brahma, do you not? You have seen or heard about all of those specialities in Father Brahma for becoming worthy of worship, and all of the things for becoming a number one special soul. Just as Brahma, that soul in a corporeal form became number one worthy of worship at the confluence age, he also becomes number one worthy of worship in the future. So now Baba is projecting into the next birth. Lakshmi and Narayan are number one worthy of worship, are they not? In the same way, all of you can also become the same. Just as you sing of the wonder of Father Brahma, along with the Father, in the same way, let all of you always have such thoughts, words, and deeds that are a wonder. When there are wonders, and the Hindi word is kamal, there won't be upheaval, which is damal. Damal. So no kamal, there's wonders, kamal, and then no damal. When you don't perform wonders, kamal, there is upheaval, damal, whether in your thoughts or words. When you have a storm of waste in your thoughts, that is an upheaval, is it not? You don't have to create an upheaval, but perform a wonder, because the Brahmin children of Adi Pita Brahma are always remembered as being worthy of worship. Even in the last birth, which clan is remembered as the highest? It is said to be the Brahmin clan, is it not? It is an elevated name, and for carrying out an elevated task, people would only call Brahmins. So Baba is talking about in Bhakti, in India, the highest caste is the Brahmin caste. So if you have anything auspicious, like some ceremony, you would only call the Brahmins. To bring benefit to anyone, they would only call Brahmins. So even until the last birth, the elevated name and the elevated task of Brahmins are well known. They have continued from time immemorial. They are carrying on with their task, even just with their name. So Baba is talking about the Lokik Brahmins. It is your work, but the work of those with just the name is also being carried out. From this, you can see how much praise there is of the true Brahmin souls and how great they are. Even the name Brahmin has become imperishable. Your life has become one with imperishable attainment. The speciality of Brahmin life is less labor and greater attainment, because there is no laboring in front of love. Beautiful, huh? Even in this last birth, Brahmins don't labor. They continue to eat comfortably. If you do the work of just your name, you cannot remain hungry. So this is also connected to bhakti. So Brahmin souls are always taken care of in the Lokik world. You know, they will be fed and taken care of. So Baba says that at the confluence age, you cannot remain hungry. So you are seeing the signs of the specialities of the Brahmin life of this time, even now. You are such elevated souls. Do you understand? Those who are worthy of worship at the present time are also worthy of worship in the future. They are known as special number one souls. So check. Baba is telling you the story of Father Brahma. More still remains. Always keep these specialities of Father Brahma in front of you. Do not engage yourself in other matters. Only see and speak about specialities. Relate the importance of specialities to everyone and make them special. To make others that means to become special yourself. Do you understand? Acha. To all the number one special souls from everywhere, to all the special souls who have a Brahmin life, to the children who are becoming equal to Father Brahma by constantly always keeping him in front of them, to all the saligrams and Brahmin souls in their corporeal forms, heart-filled love, remembrance, and namaste from both the Eternal Father and the Original Father. And now we have Baba meeting various groups. The first group, do you consider yourselves to be so fortunate that you always have the Father's hand and his company? Lovely question to ask yourself. When you have the Father's hand and his company, you constantly have a life of pleasure. You would not be one who is confused, but one who stays in pleasure. So there's a subtle thing in this. If you have the Father's company and hand, it means you are automatically in a very subtle consciousness. So you are seeing through the eyes of the divine intellect. You don't get caught up in the small things. So automatically, if you're in that consciousness, then you stay in pleasure because you are not getting distracted and questioning why like this, what, etc. So that's why you stay in pleasure. No situation will pull you to itself. You will always be attracted to the Father. The greatest and most beautiful is the Father. Therefore, no object or person apart from the Father can attract you. The minds of those who are being sustained by the Father's hand and his company cannot go anywhere else. I'll repeat that line. The minds of those who are being sustained by the Father's hand and his company cannot go anywhere else. So, are all of you like this, or are you sustained by Maya? So that just means it's the gross intellect. So you're seeing everything through the gross intellect. That path is closed, is it not? So always enjoy the Father's company. You have found the Father, and so you have found everything. There is nothing unattained. No matter how much someone tries to free you from his hand and company, you cannot let go. Even if you were to let go, where would you go? There cannot be any other fortune greater than this. Kumaris are always fortunate anyway. You have double fortune. One is the fortune of a Kumari life, and the second is the fortune of belonging to the Father. Kumari life is worshipped. When a Kumari life is over, she has to bow down to everyone. A household life is a life like that of a goat, whereas Kumari life is a worthy of worship life. If someone falls even once, all her bones break. Then, no matter how much plaster is put on or how much you try to put it right, the bone becomes weak. So, be sensible. Don't be sensible after tasting it. So Baba is emphasizing here the attraction of other human beings, that once you get pulled into that, then you have that tendency. The second group, do you always experience yourselves to be the victorious souls of every cycle? You have played the part of being victorious many times and are playing that part now too. Victorious souls always make other souls victorious too. Anything that is done many times is always easy. It doesn't require any effort. With the awareness of being a soul who has been victorious many times, it feels like a game to overcome any situation and experience happiness. Victorious souls experience victory to be their right. You do not receive a right by making effort. You receive it automatically. Oh, that's very powerful. We always think we have to work so hard to be victorious. Baba is saying, no, this is in your line of fortune. And obviously you have to recognize that you are that victorious soul. So in order to recognize that, you have to see through the eyes of the divine intellect. So, victorious souls experience victory to be their right. You do not receive a right by making effort. You receive it automatically. So constantly continue to move forward in the happiness of victory and a right, and also enable others to move forward. While living with your Lokik family, transform the Lokik that is the ordinary, into alokik, because an alokik relationship is one that gives happiness. Through lokik relationships, you receive temporary happiness, not permanent. So, you have become constantly happy. Do you experience that you have moved away from the world of those who are unhappy into a world of happiness? Previously, you were the children of Ravan, and so you were those who cause sorrow, whereas you have now become the children of the bestower of happiness, embodiments of happiness. The first number is this family of alokik Brahmins, and the deities have become the second number. So, you love this alokik life, do you not? And then the last group. Do you constantly experience yourself to be multi-million times fortunate? The Baba has started each of these groups with a very powerful question. So getting us to check that we feel our fortune. Throughout the whole cycle, you cannot attain such elevated fortune, even in the future heaven, because you receive the fortune of the kingdom as a reward of the efforts made at the present time. You receive the future fortune on the basis of the present time. It is the fortune of the present time that has importance. It is at this time that you sow the seeds of the fruit that you receive for many births. So, it is the seed that has importance, does it not? At this time, to create fortune or to receive fortune is to sow the seed. So constantly continue to move along with intense effort, with this attention, and let the multi-million times fortune of the present time always be emerged in your awareness. While performing actions, remember that you should not forget your elevated fortune in those actions. Remain an embodiment of remembrance. This is known as being multi-million times fortunate. Always keep the blessing of this awareness with you, and you will easily continue to move forward and become free from having to labor. Acha. And now there's a question. By using which method can your intellect continue to make the right decisions in lokik relationships? By using which method can your intellect continue to make the right decisions in lokik relationships? And the answer: never think about lokik situations when making a decision. Decide whilst in a powerful alokik stage. When you keep things of the past in your awareness, your intellect is diverted to those. The sanskars of the past then also emerge, and you therefore find it difficult. Completely forget your logic attitude, consider yourself to be a soul, and then make a decision. And it will be an accurate decision. This is known as the throne of a conqueror of sinful actions. The alokik, soul-conscious stage is the throne of the stage of a conqueror of sinful action. So make a decision when sitting on this throne, and it will be accurate. Acha. So this question is deeply connected to today's Murli. Baba started the Murli by talking about sowing seeds, and then he ended the last group meeting also by talking about sowing seeds. And at the confluence age, this is the time when we learn how to perform elevated action. We did what we thought was elevated action in Bhakti, lots of charity, lots of doing good deeds, etc. But Baba is very clear now that it is the state of our consciousness at the time of any action. It can be this most simple action that will make it an elevated action. And that is the seed that we sow at this time. It is the fortune that we are creating now for the future. And we're in Mama's month, the month of June, and she always said that Baba has come to teach us elevated action. And so when we listen to Baba's Murli, we can see how he's emphasizing our consciousness. And because the consciousness affects the attitude, the vision, the way we interact with people. And then how beautifully he told us at the end how to make decisions. Don't just take things at superficial level. Really come into soul consciousness. And what happens in soul consciousness, everything finds its right place, even in the drama, in the logic world. You start to see with the right perspective. So something that looked so big can suddenly fall into place, and you see, okay, it's all right. And then you make the right decision. But if there's a hype around the drama, oh, there's some disaster, and we lose our stage, then we make a decision in that consciousness. And very often, those are not the right decisions. So to become a conqueror of obstacles, a conqueror of Maya, we just pay attention. Baba talked about the mind today. That mind that keeps the company of God, that holds the hand of God. And that mind will create accurate thoughts. And then we will have accurate soul-conscious feelings and easily make the right decision. And that decision will bring more elevated action. So greater fortune for the soul. And so it's not the obvious, what we see on the outside. Somebody did a good deed. But what is that inner world at that time? So let us read today's blessing. May you be full of all powers and be free from all bondages with the awareness of the companion and of being a detached observer. May you be full of all powers and be free from all bondages with the awareness of the companion and of being a detached observer. in order to be full of all powers and be beyond any dependency, always remember two things. One, detached observer, and two, companion. By doing this, you will quickly make your stage that of being free from bondage. When you have the company of the Almighty Authority Father, you automatically receive all powers. And by moving along as a detached observer, you will not get trapped by any bondage. Simply stay in your body in name to carry out that task, and then become a detached observer. Especially increase this practice. And the slogan: if there is a battle going on within you between the impure and the pure, then instead of being a Brahmin, you are a warrior. If there's a battle going on within you between the impure and the pure, then instead of being a Brahmin, you are a warrior. So sometimes Baba goes backwards through the cycle, from the confluence age, we have to make effort to finish all the sanskars of the copper age, the iron age and the copper age, because in the copper age, we are merchants, and then in the silver age, we are warriors. So we want to come to the golden age. So we finish all those sanskars. Om Shanti. So let's take a moment of silence just to digest.
Belinda, you on mute.
Thanks, Brother Avinav. Anyone like to share some points today? Beautiful, Murli. So much richness. Please feel free to unmute. So quiet today.
Good morning.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Good morning.
I like this aspect of keeping in mind our awareness at the time we're performing our actions, and that's awareness will either make the action elevated or ordinary. So, like paying attention during how we do our actions and what of consciousness we have. at that time. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamla Ben. Yeah, that most important thing. We've been so used to doing things to gain recognition for so many births. Now we don't do that. Our motivation is completely different. Motivation now is really to accumulate that fortune for the future. Thank you. Anyone else?
Shanti, Belinda Ben. I want to just share about the aspect of worthy of worship. I always thought that, you have to make that effort to not create any discord among the family to at least 100%. And it can be quite interesting if you try and you find you can't. But it's nice to know that there's a 5% leeway. So yeah, the aim is just to be emotionally intelligent and make sure that that everyone that you come in contact with, there's always that giving of good wishes and love and harmonious relationships. Om Shanti.
Beautiful point. Thank you, Brother Avinav. It always reminds us of Daddy G when asked, how she manages. She would always say, it's because of the blessings of others. And blessings are very important from the heart, not because somebody feels they're obliged to, It's a lovely point. Thank you.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Dikti Ben.
Baba said that you receive victory automatically. And I was just thinking that automatic is a product of two things. And that is, one is when you are in your stage of self-respect, you shift your energy around you totally. So that brings victory, because your soul conscious stage and your self-respect. And then you put yourself in alignment with Srimad. So when these two areas are taken care of in our personal journey, then you automatically experience victory as a product of these two aspects, self-respect and staying in alignment with Srimad. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Dikti Ben. Lovely.
Om Shanti, good morning.
Good morning, Brother Mirko.
I always like these two stages, Anadi and Adi. Yeah, this is very nice when you spinning the cycle. Always go in Anadi, automatically you go into silence and stabilize yourself in the stage of silence, being the point star, and Baba is there giving you. So that stage, it's I would say I would practice it whenever I'm conscious that I'm practicing. And so what I think Baba is teaching to become worthy of worship, what is Baba teaching us today is how to become Adi or Anadi and Adi. Mean what I am forever, what I am originally. And that is not really difficult, because soul is that. When you ask what is the soul, of course, soul sanskars are these seven, Sato Prabhan, Sat, seven, and Sato is, true qualities of the soul. And so we that, and if you go to the cycle, we come that, and we express that. That's our role in a drama. Of course, first half a cycle, we are our natural self, and we expressing that. But Copper age comes, and then gradually that same or eternal and original sanskar gradually start. I use the word convoluted. They change their value. They change their value, and instead of that, we start using them, which you can call them weaknesses. You can call them whatever. But it's not anymore original. And then we start using many other things, our ego, manipulation, controlling. In other words, we become selfish. And everything is from that time based on that, something I want from. Why I want? Because soul becomes empty of this, he loses awareness of this self, original self. And then Baba comes and starts teaching us how to become that. And then I call that the catching power. He teaches us how to catch that, that what we weigh, what we are eternally, and what we were, if not eternally, at least originally. I was, 30 years ago, doing this and this, and I will, if I bring that in my awareness, almost as if I'm living it. And so, yeah, to become worthy of worship is not really that big thing. Just as accept what Baba is teaching, become first soul conscious, and all the rest process, I would say, to become really what Baba is talking today. And of course, for me, always first, in a practical form, to imbibe knowledge. From knowledge, all the virtues gradually they're coming in. We become more aware of them, of course, and applying them in practical life. We become that. We've watched that for years and years. That is like, especially Daddy Junkie. How, and some senior souls and Brahmins in general, how they expressing virtue. Why can't I be like that? But then expressions, of course you can be like that, but So this is what to become worthy of worship. Just remember the two stages, eternal and original. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Brother Mirko. Nice journey. Anyone else? Okay, so let's read the points for today. Sorry. I see the one, I've got the wrong one up. Just give me a second. So today's the 27th. According to the time now, do service through the mind and through words simultaneously. However, serving through words is easy, whereas serving through the mind is a matter of paying attention. Therefore, your mind should have thoughts filled with good wishes and pure feelings for all souls. Let there be the let there be the newness of sweetness, contentment, and easiness in your words, and you will easily continue to receive success. Always beautifully aligned with the day's Murli. So Let's have some yoga now. I just wanted to say, some of you may have seen that Brother Delon's Lokik father left the body, and many souls have been flying away. So let us take this time to send our good wishes, our peace to the soul, the departed soul, and also Baba's light and support to the family. Not sure if Sister Shirley is on and if she has any announcements. Okay, so we can.
Belinda Ben.
Yes,
Vedanti Ben's talk today at 5 o'clock our time.
Yes.
Meet the Africa family.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, let's have a song. Thank you, Brother Abhinav.
Here I stand before you, naked like a child. One more time I come before you, just to be by your side, 'cause you are my haven from the storms, and you are my fire. You keep me warm. Words cannot express the thanks I have inside my heart. Poets couldn't write it, painters couldn't paint this kind of art, 'cause you are my haven from the storms, and you are my fire. You keep me
Om Shanti. Have a powerful Sunday, and we'll meet again this afternoon. Listen to Vedanti Ben. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Belinda Ben.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Belinda Ben.
Om Shanti.
Shanti, thank you.